Chasing the Nightmare!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Chasing the Nightmare. Today we are talking Hater Table, which will be the very first short released by us here at Fountain's Pen. We have the director, as well as somebody who worked on it, and of course the regular podcast crew is here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. Why don't you take us away, Logan?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Logan. I started doing film in 2012. I started in Chicago. A few years later, moved to Norwich. I was studying I was pursuing a career in editing in post production, and in the middle of all of that, and at the beginning of the time in the 4-year degree, I saw a friend had transferred to animation and hadn't realized that he could do that. So I decided to try and do that. That just kind of shot my pathway upwards. And now have a master's degree. I have the bachelor's degree. And I've been doing all sorts of fun stuff, wearing all sorts of hats. And it's been really fun to meet all these people and work on all of these all this huge array of projects that we've been doing here at Fountain Pen.
We're honored to have you here. You're definitely a excellent resource to the studio, and having you across all these
An honor
projects is
just being around you guys. It's honor every time we get to chat, every time we get to work on anything.
this is a great group of people here, and it's
It really is, it really
yeah.
is.
Jeremy, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jeremy. I'm a voice actor here on Fountain's Pen, and I don't know how I got involved in the podcast, but here I am, and I'm just enjoying meeting all the other people working here on all the cool different projects we've got going on.
Yeah, Jeremy, you've definitely cemented yourself as a staple on the podcast. You've done me a huge help by taking over editing the audio, which I appreciate a lot.
No problem.
And of course, Lathan, you want to go ahead?
Sure thing. My name's Lathan, and interestingly, I also went to college and for film, and also originally was pursuing video editing as well. That passion for animation never really went away, and thankfully, I managed to find Fountains Pen Productions to help continue with that drive to do more animation or illustration work. And just like folks here, everyone, the environment in here is super nice. I really, everyone's just wonderful.
There's so many benefits to being here. I feel like you just highlighted a few. It's like it's not just so many cool people collaborating, but it helps keep you motivated. It drives you to want to keep animating and keep pushing forward. And we've had many people tell us like they were ready to quit animation and or they hadn't done anything in years, but then they come here and they rediscover their love for animation, and that always,
Really
brings a little
something,
tear to my
isn't it?
eye. It's
It
an
is
honor,
something.
really.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to be doing to help people harness and find their love again.
It's also really cool to see like someone who hasn't done anything, and then they join your project, and then couple weeks or maybe into 3 months, you just see them like absolutely getting comfortable in the role that they've been assigned and
Right,
having
right.
an absolute blast with what they're doing. I mean, they might have to take a break after a certain while, but just to see the quick progression that they've had is something that's reinvigorated something that I've missed for quite
hmm
some time.
You really put a good pinpoint on that feeling. It's reinvigoration, and that's what happens here. We breathe life into
Yeah.
animation. We're bringing life to these, IPs of Fs that were, mostly thought dead, and we're bringing life to this talent of artists that were mostly discouraged or unable to find options.
Exactly. Yeah. We are kind of not small island of misfit toys in a sense.
Shay, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Shay. I did storyboards and some of the animation on Hater Table, and it'll be like my first credit on anything. Like you guys were talking about a few minutes ago, like people just getting in. That's me. Where this is kind of I've done like personal projects and some other stuff before, but this is really feels like the first thing where it's like I'm part of a team. It's like there's a set goal kind of thing. So it's just really great to be a part of all this, and I'm just like so excited for like us to start releasing stuff and like for people to like finally see
Finally.
like, hey,
It's been a
this
long
thing I
time
helped with.
coming, and it's coming
Yeah,
together.
I didn't realize that this was like your first credit on anything.
Oh yeah.
That really makes it feel really special.
Oh yeah.
You said you had a master's degree, and I was like, wait, what? I thought you were my.
Oh yeah. I've
Like,
been around
you went to,
and I've been
you were
doing a
like,
lot
went
of
to
things
film
for
school in
over a
2012.
decade now, but yeah, I have
You
a
were like,
master's degree, I have the bachelor's. It's not hung up, but it's there, it exists.
I went to film school in 2012, and I was like, I was in 6th grade.
Mhm. Yeah,
I thought
it
I
kind of
didn't know.
floors me how many people are, as young as they are doing all of this. A part of me is just like, wow, there's such incredibly talented people at such a young age now. And the other part is, it's almost a fire lit under you. It's just like, come on.
Yes.
There's like so many people even younger than me that I'm like, oh my god, you're so talented. How did you do that? I can't do that.
Yeah.
And like, I
Right.
think
We have people animating at like age 19 and 20. It's pretty crazy.
there's
And they're
like
really good.
Right.
some of my favorite like artists on Instagram. Like I see in their bio, it's like oh 21 kind of thing, and I'm like, how did you do that? Like I want to draw like that. How did you draw? I think part of it, for me at least, like I think it kind of took a while for me to like start taking it like more seriously, kind of thing. Like okay, I got to learn like these fundamentals in practice, and I can't just doodle, kind of thing. And be like,
Yes.
oh, I got to
Yes.
look up stuff. It took longer than it probably should have, but I think it was just like I had to like wear down my own mind. Be like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
huge difference between, as you said, doodling and then actually like, studying and learning what weaknesses you have and focusing on those and strengthening any aspect you can find really.
Not to discount doodling because I'm doing it right now. But
True.
it's like of where I'm like, okay. I think once I started, like, I gotta start studying, like, kind of those that came before, especially, like, with both in terms of, like, drawing and illustration and, like, film making, because that's kind of what I'm into. Where I'm, like, kind of into, like, I want to learn everything about everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard because there's other days where I'm like, I don't want to hear anything. Just let me go to sleep. But yeah.
Well,
I didn't
can't
realize.
draw. I can't draw at all. I've played a little bit, with basic flip books and stuff, but never really learned animation. And just as a consumer, you sit there and you watch the cartoons and you enjoy them and you think, yeah, that was fun. But realizing, sitting on the back end like this and watching behind the scenes and what goes into it and just kind of the iterative process, you realize just how difficult this is. I have a whole new appreciation for this art just as a result of being back here and watching you guys do all this.
I never could have imagined before being here just how deep and intensive the pipeline is. Like, I would have thought animation was the bulk of it, and while it is a major part and it certainly takes a long time, there's so much that goes into pre-production and post-production that I never could have imagined, before working
Yeah, there's a
in
lot in
the studio
post.
experience.
There's a ton in post,
Oh
and
yeah.
people don't realize that. They just think, oh,
They're
we'll
like,
just fix it in post. You
right.
have no idea how much is in post.
They're like, oh yeah, that's
Like,
just 20% of it. Like it's a big 20% right there.
like the
Sneak
thing
peek.
that I'm working on, like the movies one, are we still technically in like pre-production, even though it's like we started in March?
Oh yeah,
And I know it's because we had
pre-production.
to redo it like 4 times. It's like we're still like figuring out what to do before anyone starts animating things.
Oh yeah.
Like
Honestly,
I think
sometimes
that
Yeah.
pre-production takes so long if we think about
it
it.
feels like production.
It's the most important phase too. I
Yes,
There's
mean,
so much
exactly.
planning.
Yeah.
You cannot,
Absolutely.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think pre-production has that, that power that if you handle pre-production correctly,
Right.
you will spend the least amount on animation. Not
Yeah.
saying that animation won't take long, but imagine how long it would take without that preparation.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, hello, my
Spending
name
like
is Sky. I was living in your walls and enjoying the conversation.
and also like spending all that time on pre-production, you can get it like more unique kind of thing. Like
It's
gonna
the place to
focus on
develop
like
the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
will make it like that much like unique and kind of focus on the individual little details before you like start animating, and it's like so you can figure it out like down to the like millimeter before you make it, so that'll make it even more special and like unique.
But it's
Yeah, it's like
important not to let the creative side it's important to let there be some flexibility and not micromanage everything in pre-production because nothing's going to flourish otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
You need to find like the right amount micromanage. Not the, you know what
It's about finding a good balance. That's for sure.
Exactly,
it's all.
yeah.
Mr. L, did you
yeah.
have something you wanted to add?
Oh yeah, it's like, not just with like animation, but just like like lighting or any of that stuff. It's like even if like things don't go exactly the way planned, at least there's like some kind of a goal is being done or something like that. It's like it's important to at least like have like a plan at the start, like or a goal of like what otherwise it's like spending like time or in some cases money to like find out that there's a better way for that. It's like it's always best to like work things out like ahead of time.
It's just so you're not like throwing like pens at like 15 different people and saying go draw, and then they all come back to you and they all everything from each person looks like it's from like a different thing.
Right, that's why you want to
Oh,
have the
yes,
model
Everyone's
sheets and the
everyone's on the
storyboards all
same
laid
page.
out. Right. Everybody being on the same page. That's what
Yeah,
matters.
draw me a cat, and you come back with a dozen different cats. Yeah.
Does
Or-
anybody does anybody remember that old Shark Tank thing where it was like a guy, I want
So
to draw a cat for
Jerry.
you. Yes.
I only know about it. I think I saw it on John Oliver once. And then he does like the shoulder, like the.
Yeah. I think I
Reminded me
remember
of
that
the.
episode of John Oliver too.
It reminded me of the one Gravity Falls short where Mabel draws cats for everybody.
Sky, did you get a chance to introduce yourself?
I did. I'm actually living in your walls right now.
Oh, very nice, very nice. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. As a formal introduction, my name is Sky. I'm a storyboard artist and director here in Fountain Pen Productions. I haven't been following Coffee Table as much as I've wanted to, but I know one thing. It's hilarious and you all need to watch it.
And last but not least, leaves me. I love this group so much we can get 20 minutes in without finishing introductions. My name is Tiger Singh. I'm your host here. You may know me, but you probably don't from my previous podcast, Daphne 2. I met F through that. I was gonna interview him for my show, but then the interview never ended up happening, and we ended up starting an animation studio together instead, and here we are.
Backstory you've never heard before.
Yeah, yeah. It the lore gets deeper.
Will we ever reach the ground?
I was basically, interviewing all these people across animation, and the thing that kept coming up is that, studios are firing people, so many people are out of work, new folks in the industry are unable to find jobs and such, and then I saw shortly after F posted that tweet where he's like, "Huh, I'm thinking about doing this, and I'm like, I've been thinking about doing that too, and it was perfect. It worked out. So I'm like, hey, you need
A
somebody?
match made in
I'm your
heaven.
guy. Yeah, it was a match made in heaven for real. That's the power of social media and networking. It really makes a difference. Sky, you had a question prepared for us that I'm curious to hear everybody's answers to.
I did indeed. We have our character Hater Table, right? Who has a certain personality. What do you guys get all Hater Table about? What's the one show? What's the one movie? What's that one episode
But
that gets you like
before,
that?
maybe first we should go into a little bit about the personality of the behavior table.
Mm.
I was just thinking that what if these good listeners have yet to see the short? Elfie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the personality of our star table?
So our table is, let's just say, a little fed up with being in the presence of some subpar shows. I won't say which ones because the table will. But the attitude that I had for the table is derived from a kind of like a New Yorker kind of gruffness. And I almost stole it entirely from this YouTube comedian named Vic DiBitetto.
Okay.
Yes, definitely go watch his videos because they're very funny. And he is indeed the inspiration for at least the loving frustration that is our table. He wants you to to watch some quality stuff while the table itself is stuck in the room.
Self-beneficial at the same time.
Yes.
Please put on a good show, please. I'm stuck.
Exactly. I'm just trying to think of like what one TV show you could watch like over and over and over again, and just like if you watch like that one episode, you're gonna crack.
So the question here is, what shows or episodes make you go all hater table over, make you want to change the TV or beg your friend to watch something better on? Sky, this is your question. Why don't you you have a show in mind?
Oh boy, do I. Well, everyone who has been following these episodes will know one thing about me. I take Avatar Last Airbender very seriously. So when suddenly, you know, we have
Oh.
never had a movie of it, obviously. I
Oh
don't know what
God.
you guys are talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have any movies.
For
Let's
some reason.
let's move further along. There's been no movies. But
I think I had a fever
when
dream about something
God.
once.
It doesn't exist. It's all in your head. You're delusional.
I definitely don't have that fever dream on
I
DVD.
agree.
for some reason.
Nothing happened. It's all in your head.
It's all
Trust
in your
me.
head. It's
I
all in
know.
your head.
In your
But
head, in your head. Avatar, Avatar.
but
Hope I don't get
but
copyright claim for that.
yeah, but it's fine. But the point is, when a certain company decides to take a step into a remake for that TV show, a beloved TV show, a classic even at this point,
Oh yeah.
I will be taking it seriously, especially when, okay, you want to change things? Sure, please do. However, don't take away character traits that made them lovable. And now they're just boring. They're just the shell of their former selves. You took everything from them that made them, entertaining, that made us love them. We had the Team Avatar. Where is the Team Avatar? I don't see them. I just see good actors
Go
that are
Team
good actors,
Avatar.
but there are no characters there. I'm so sorry. I'm done.
So this is in reference to the Netflix show.
Yeah.
I have
watched the
not
first
watched it
episode of
yet.
that.
Okay,
I watched the
okay.
first episode and I forgot how to feel.
Oh yeah. So did Dang.
I watched the first episode that propelled me
Wow.
to rewatch the whole original show with my dad.
That's
That's
how
what I
I
did,
felt.
and
I
then
just rewatched the original instead of watching it.
please
know it was
do.
really fun.
If anyone wants to watch the show, Like obviously, like of course, do that, but also don't. Watch the original. Have some fun. Enjoy the joys of life.
They just released like a teaser for season.
Oh
You just
dear.
see like the.
Yeah, they just
See, like,
released the one for
me-
Toph. Yeah.
I hope
Tia,
it's
why
John
would you
Cena.
say this to me?
I really
Why would you
hope.
say this?
I hope they do it with the Ember Island plate. Like I hope that's John Cena's feet. That'd be so funny. If I was making it, that's how it would go.
I thought he was gonna be Chopper in One Piece.
I would also accept that.
Love it, love it.
I need steak.
You know, the first thing that came to my head when I was thinking of this is every time I try and rewatch the Boondocks and I reach season 4, I sort of get like this. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm like, why is it so bad? And then I try and force myself to watch it, and then I just reach the Kardashian episode, and I have to be like, all right, turn this off. You could be watching something better right
Very sorry.
now. LP, how about you?
Yeah, actually, I wasn't sure at first listening to the question, but now that we've brought Netflix up, there is one that I do get a little about. And before this is another Netflix remake.
Uh-oh.
If you haven't, if this is to anybody watching this thing or any of you guys, if you haven't seen Death Note,
Oh,
I
it
know
is-
what you're talking
it's
about.
Death Note is one of the best stories ever told. It is some of the best, like, cerebral fiction you can ever have. But there's only one thing that they needed to do to get this right. And they did half of it, which is they cast Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. But they didn't use his face. They just had him hidden in the dark. It just completely like CGI'd everything. It was like, my guys, just put him in makeup, please.
He already looks like him.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you a hot take though. I really
Okay.
enjoyed the Netflix Death Note movie. I'm probably the only person in the world to say that, but
Okay.
I thought it was as good as it could have possibly
I am
been.
also a firm believer that if it exists out there, somebody's probably got to like it.
True, that's true.
And that includes the Netflix Death Note.
And that's me here.
But
Look, sometimes you can be wrong. It's okay.
Yes, I know I'm wrong,
I'm
but
kidding.
I don't
But I would
know
also
what
think-
people expected. I didn't like I don't think there's any way it could have been, good. Like for what it is, for what they tried to do, and an Americanized anime adaptation, I think they did
that's the
succeed
key
in
part
pulling
of that,
off.
isn't it? Because I have seen the Japanese live action, and that's really good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
No, the
Both
key
parts.
part that I'm looking it up now. The key part is that for some reason they got the guy who plays Light in that movie is the guy from the Naked Brothers band. Does anyone
Yes.
remember that show?
Yes.
Rings a bell. I've not seen it.
He's huge, or like he stuck around, which is crazy. I'm like, wait, that's
was like, wait,
what is their
that's that
name?
guy?
Wolf or something like that?
Yeah, his name is Nat Wolf.
Mhm. Yeah, he sticks around, man. Does
was like,
anybody
oh,
remember the Naked Brothers band video game on the DS?
I remember the superhero cartoon.
We're
I
getting
gotta
to
look that up now just to make sure that wasn't a fever dream of mine.
that might have been a fever dream.
Also, side note, speaking of Death Note,
What was
the musical, absolutely 10 out of 10.
The musical, really?
Oh god, it's amazing. Both
Okay.
Japanese and English versions.
I need to find and listen to that right away. So, Elfby, is that the end of your take there?
That is the end of my take. They should have just used Willem Dafoe's face for Ryuk, and it would probably have been a lot better.
Jeremy, what is your hater table take?
Okay, so I mean, I guess since we're all piling on Netflix, they've done some good stuff, I assume. but
I assume.
If someone try to adapt something, it's kind of
I
fun.
haven't seen any of it. No, Bee and Puppy Cat was good, but I digress. We're going to talk about bad things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to watch Twisted Metal ever since I saw the promos came out, because I grew up in the 90s on PlayStation, and I loved the Twisted Metal games, and they were so much fun, and you know, the twist endings when you win. And so I'm watching this, and I wanted to like it. I really did. But it's one of those things where it's like they make the joke, and they make it again, and they make it again, and they make it again. And it's like the joke is over. Okay, we get it.
Cool.
Make
Aw.
another joke now. That's how
Please.
jokes work. That's I just
Wait, that wasn't
it's tiring. It's such a tiring show.
even on Netflix.
I think that was Peacock. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
was
just looked
that
it up. I was like,
Peacock?
wait.
Yeah, it was, because I had to watch ads.
Ah.
Peacock has trouble making good originals. They do. They
That's what all
they
I've
have
watched
some
on-
gems in there, but
The only thing I've watched on Peacock that I usually use a lot, but it's like shows from like the 70s.
I
That's what I
have
usually
Peacock for
on top of that.
WWE, and they're gonna lose it to Netflix soon, so we'll see.
Dun, 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 dun.
I will say, if we're talking about good Peacock shows though, and I know nobody cares, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Well,
There's
I
this
live
show.
in the UK. We don't have Peacock over here.
Okay, well, you extra don't care then.
I might watch it if we had it.
There's a show called Paul T. Goldman on Peacock. It's one of the most meta, fucked up, like mind-bending shows I've ever seen. And I've never heard anybody talk about it. It's just 6 episodes. If you do have access, I highly recommend checking it
Okay.
out. And I'm not gonna give any details about it. It's fun. It's more fun if you just hop in blind. But anyways, Lathan, how about you, Lathan? What's your hater table take?
Well, I have seen like plenty of like bad films, but I am like kind of like a completionist kind of person. Like I still like, even if it's a film. Usually, if it's a film I hate, I usually follow through and watch the whole thing or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Even, like,
same.
but there is one film where it's like, okay, I've seen enough. And it's a film that me and my friends discovered on Amazon.
Oh
It's
no.
called Trump versus the Illuminati.
Oh my god.
There is
Yeah.
some hot
I'd seen enough
garbage on
after the title
Amazon.
screen.
Swiper at it again.
It's a CGI quote unquote animated film, and I put quote unquote because it's barely animated. It's like the first like 10 minutes of the film is just like an alien talking to like this
Turning
statue
it
or
off.
something, and it's just like a scene of like, and all the scene is just these two characters just standing there, only with their mouths moving, and just like the camera moving. It's
Oh,
like
no.
it's like, and then
Oh
and then
my
we get to
God.
like the next scene in like in space where the two astronauts talking again, like no animation. It's just like
It's a series, you know. There's Bigfoot
Guys.
versus the
Oh
Illuminati.
my god. I had
yeah,
it.
Let's have a
Turned
movie
it on.
night.
yeah. And after that, we were like, okay, if this is all the film is going to be, like, I think we've seen enough. We don't need to watch any more of this. I think this is easy 1 out of 10 already.
It's like Screensaver the movie. I have it on my Prime. Scrolling through it. I only saw Trump once.
Oh yeah, we never really saw
Like,
Trump.
where is he?
Oh,
It
jeez.
follows a Chinese clone of Donald Trump battling against an
What?
evil alien race known as the Illuminati.
Guys, can we please watch on a movie night? Can we please? I'm begging you.
Yeah,
That is one heck of a sentence.
But
I use my Prime account.
thought the Illuminati was like some kind of like, I know, secret organization on Earth. I didn't know they were aliens.
Right. They're exposing them.
At it again.
See, like, now it's educational.
Right.
Well, I guess I learn something new every day. So
There is certainly some hot garbage on streaming these days. That is for sure.
Oh yeah.
Especially Tubi, like I do enjoy Tubi because there's some good stuff there for free, even though it has ads. But like at the same time, you'll find some hot garbage on there as well.
If you want to find the steamiest of steamy garbage, go to Zumo Play, Xfinity's
okay.
Xfinity's exclusive streaming service. If you have Xfinity internet, this sounds like an ad. It's
No.
not. It's not an ad. It's just
Okay.
awful. Oh yeah, fair. It's just awful.
I'll be so
It's
real. I'll be
the-
so real. I thought you were going to say, if you want the steamiest of the steamy garbage, please visit Fountain Spencer.
I love that too.
Well, you know what? That would have been a good segue, but I had something even worse in mind. No, if you want to see
Fair
some
enough.
hot steamy goodness, go to Fountain's Pen. You know.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shay, how about you? What's your hater table thing?
All right, you guys before you were playing on easy mode with remakes of anime. I'm going.
Okay.
That's easy
I'm gonna
mode.
go for the Disney live action remakes. But
Oh,
I don't
Lion
care
King.
about them, to be honest. I just don't
Yeah,
care
me
about them.
I'm trying to think. Just recently, like, one of the worst things. I forget the name of the show, but it was like on HBO Max.
Oh
It
no.
was one of the many Ghost Adventures clones. I think it's just a show. Oh my! It looked like felt like I was watching like a YouTube video and not like a well produced one. It was just like, how is this on How does this have seasons on television? Who paid for this? It took them, like,
14
half the
seasons
episode-
or something.
It took them like half the episode to get to like the haunted house or whatever, and I was like, what? Oh, I was just really upset. But the one that really got me was, and it was from a show. It was just an episode from a show I liked. It's a show called Greatest American Hero. It was like early '80s.
Uh-huh.
All the
That's a
all the
classic.
adult, all the people older than me listening to this might be like, oh, okay, yeah. But so the show, it's really like corny and cheesy, but it's so fun because the characters like bounce off each other really well. They go on fun adventures. The last episode, like of the whole show, made so little sense and like so like what are they doing kind of thing, where I was like, my brain froze. There's multiple times I leaned over to my dad. I was like, "Do you know what's happening?" He's like, "No." I was just enthralled by it. And then at the end, like the aliens come back because like they established earlier, there's like aliens in the show. They just show up out of nowhere, and I'm like, literally out of nowhere. I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a not giving any context, but these two like brothers just shot each other, and then the aliens just show up and just talk about stuff, and then it becomes like main character gives a speech on like democracy or something. I'm like,
That's
what?
what happens when your show gets
Sounds like
canceled
Mars
and you
Attacks.
want to say, fuck you
That's
to the
what-
network.
I know. I was like, what is going on? I was like, that was the worst episode. I like had a headache afterwards. 'Cause I was trying to figure out what was happening. The beginning of the episode, it starts they're at like a fancy gala kind of thing, and they're there because of backstory we haven't heard yet or has been hinted at. So I was like, who are these people? And then I still really don't know what their plan was. But then aliens came down and he gave a speech about democracy. And now everyone's friends again.
Yay, democracy! That's America.
That sounds like it makes as much sense as Mars Attacks.
I think Mars Attacks was after. That was in the
Oh
90s,
yeah, Mars
right?
Attacks was after that. Mars
Yeah.
Attacks was like 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, I
haven't
know.
watched them, but I'd want to.
Great American Hero is certainly one of the most iconic one-season shows of all time. That's for
It had
sure.
3 seasons.
Oh, 3 seasons. Okay, I'm sorry. Short
watched
shows,
through all
I
of
should
them.
say. You got me thinking with particular episodes. I don't know. I watch a lot of animation, as we all do. I don't know if I could pinpoint one, but I feel like American Dad has this happen more than any other of these shows. Maybe Family Guy sometimes, but it's easy to pick on Family Guy. But sometimes there's American Dad episodes that I just cannot watch. I'm like, oh no, it's this episode. It's time to change it. Like when Steve and Snot raise daughters to take to the prom, and or there's just a lot of bad episodes. I won't go
Can
into
I ask you something?
it. Yes.
Okay, there's this, but also I'm quite curious. On Scooby-Doo, has this
Okay.
happened to you?
Oh, what do I get hater table about on Scooby-Doo?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm curious.
Well, I'll
I'm
say I've never been able to make it through through the musical Lego movie. I know, I should be ashamed, but I've never been able to sit through Blowout Beach Bash from beginning to end, and
not a
that's
real
my
fan.
that's my white horse of the Scooby franchise. Is I haven't been able to finish that one movie. So
Can I
perhaps
point one thing out, at least based on the framing of this question?
yes.
When we were kind of going through the list of shows, one of the shows we really wanted to put in there was the Velma series.
Right, right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I'm
We were like,
I'm
yeah,
not
why
gonna
we
go
didn't
get
do it.
started.
I forgot why we didn't go with that one.
We didn't go with it because the whole idea is that the shows have to work within the joke over time, and we don't want it to be like too focused in on a specific time frame of shows. And we were kind of
Yeah.
worried that the Velma series would be that one of those ones.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Came
And
and
it's
went.
still a little early to say
It
right now,
is.
but
I think it was a good decision to keep it out. It's sort of season 2 came
yeah.
and went. Nobody talked about it. Barely
I
anybody
still
even
like the
hated
list
on
that
it
we
anymore. I'm still a little sad we didn't include Succession. I fought hard for it, but it's okay. All right. So you know what? We all love TV shows. We could talk about them all day, and you know who else could talk about them all day? That little table. Elfie,
Yeah, table.
why don't you tell us a little bit about the process of creating Hater Table? What was it like in the beginning?
All of these like little quick ones that you guys are gonna see, they come from like they're like one panel comics that F drew up like a long while back. And he asked us all, hey, go through all these, pick whichever ones you want to do. And there are some of these that like everyone went for, and it was obvious like from the get-go that these were already going to be worked on. Hater
Right.
Table was weirdly one of the ones that didn't get picked up. I saw nobody talking about it. And to me, it was the funniest idea. Just the idea of your table being sentient and complaining to you about the situation that it's in, and the fact that you are watching banal show after banal show. It's so good. It's so simple, and it's so animatable, and it was just mind-boggling to me that we weren't doing any of it. And so I was, no one was talking about it, and I just brought it up, and he's just like, "You want to do it? Okay, go ahead, do it. You're the director." And that's how it started. And then I can't remember if I wanted to try and do it all by myself, or if I was thinking about a team at the very beginning, because it's been such a while now.
Right. Keep in mind,
But
we started production in April of 2023. This has been nearly a
yeah,
year and a half
yeah, and a
coming.
lot has happened since then,
Oh
and
yeah,
a lot has
a
happened since
lot.
then. I knew that I wanted to keep the style as close to F's as I could, as I possibly could, and having seen some of his little like quick animations himself, they had a somewhat line boiling effect, but I wanted to expand on that. So I wanted this to look a little more like Ed, Edd and Eddy, or the Darn Hertzfeldt cartoons, like Rejected and all that. So when the idea to put together a small and like confined team for this came about, that's what the initial vision was from the beginning. and it's stuck through all the way to the end. I'm glad that we managed to pull that off. Now, there was also on top of that, at the time, F wanted all of them to have the same dimensions as like what you would see on TikTok, because these are quick. These are very, very quick. And so I didn't want to go too complex with the shots. And really, I wanted everything to be one shot. We brought a whole number of animators on this whole thing, which was, I'm still blown away in the fact that we managed to pull this off. Having several animators animating this one table section by section throughout the whole thing.
Right, we had
And
4 or 5 different animators, I think.
we did, yes.
Yeah.
To me, at least, it looks as smooth as it's ever going to be. I know you said the beginning, but I kind of went through a general beginning all the way through to the end.
And looking at where it is today versus say where it was a year ago, it's really come far.
And there are fans of the table too now. I'm so happy about that. It makes me giddy every time I see someone want to animate this guy, because it's like, yes, I wasn't crazy.
He's got a personality. You elevated it.
Personality.
The
Everyone loves him.
the Wii
Maybe
remote
get it
and
now.
oh yeah. We
I
have
still love the fact that we did like 2 different remotes.
I honestly
Priceless, I
didn't
think
notice that.
I think that was your initial concept, Priceless.
Yeah, I was just scrolling back through the chat, just like really far back, and just like flooded with memories of like us coming up with it. I was like, oh yeah, I think
Right?
I think the one remote is supposed to be like a Wii remote, and the other one's supposed to be like just the TV channel remote.
It's just
Yeah.
a general TV remote, yeah.
But it was like, what remotes look like kind of similar shape enough, but different enough that you have in your house? I was like, oh, I have a Wii. Let's use that.
I used the Wii in at the house that I was growing up in for quite some time too, so it works in my case as well.
I was watching Netflix on Wii till like 2015.
Please don't sue us, Nintendo. Please don't do sue us.
You get sued by Nintendo. We're gonna get sued by the Cranberries for me singing earlier.
No,
If it's
just
going to
YouTube on that
happen,
one.
might as well.
We had this little short. It may seem small, but it was a big process, 10, 20
It
people
was.
worked on
It's-
it. There was a lot of collaboration and brainstorming going on here. It was like when you watch it, you may think, oh yeah, it's a minute long short, but then you hear the story behind it, and it's a year long short. There's a whole story to this
And
table, and I
it's
love it.
had its bumps and roadblocks along the way, just as any other production tends to.
Exactly.
But the difference is we pulled past all of it.
We did. We
And
pulled it off.
everybody has contributed. Like everybody actually has their contribution to this. I'm also glad that we're crediting everybody who's worked on this.
Yes, we work hard to make sure we do 10 revisions of the credits if we have to. We make sure everybody who touches, if you touch the project, your name's in the credits.
Absolutely.
The only policy is if you leave us and you ghost us with no word and don't give us your name, then how are we gonna credit you? But besides that, even sometimes we'll like chase you down on Twitter, like, hey, what the heck is your name? Shay, you touched a little bit on your contributions to the creative process here. What was your exact role on Coffee Table? You want to tell us a little bit more about that? Or,
So
I'm sorry,
I
Hater
was-
Table.
I still switch between both calling it like Coffee Table, which was the working title, and Hater Table, which is the official. I still call it like Coffee Table because this is what I'm used to. But
Right.
I think officially it said art support, but I was the storyboard artist. I kind of came up with like some of the poses that he was gonna do. It's kind of like for a roadmap for the animation, because I know a lot changed from initial storyboard I sent in like back in July of last year or something.
Right.
The actual animation, but it's still like the bones are still there, where you can see like basically trying to figure out how to bring this table to life and make him look expressive, but still like look like a table kind of.
You
was
drew
like, oh,
also
like-
a lot of silhouettes of the table. Like there's like this one like small area where it's just like 15 different versions of the table in a silhouette, and it still
think
shows through.
I
Like
have
all of it does.
I can't show it here because it's like an audio podcast, but I have a paper next to me. I know it's from last July.
We could put it up on screen in an edit.
Yeah.
July, it's from July of 2013. It's from when I was at work, but it's like a summer camp work. So I just like would get to like kind of just doodle and stuff. And I have it where I was trying to figure out the silhouette for like when he points at the camera. And it's so like it's just weird to see it and still have it. And I was going back through the chat and I found when I sent the picture of that, it's actually 7/11/23. I was like, what? Like seeing it, it's just weird. Like seeing
Right.
how far it's. So it was kind of figuring out like the like how to translate the personality of the table from both the writing and the voice acting clips we were using into like visual form. And then I helped with the background too, even though a lot of that help was with F, because my initial concepts for the background were way off from what we ended up doing. I think that was even before. I think that might have been before I realized we were doing it in YouTube short format. So I was like, oh. Yeah, but F.
Yeah. But that was like really early. That was really
Yeah.
early, like thumbnail concepts, and that to me that's like just part of the process.
Right.
Yeah. And then I also did part of the animation, which I always feel like I guess I am an animator, but I don't feel like it because I don't do it as often. I'm more comfortable with like kind of storyboard and like figuring it out in like more loose drawings, so I don't have to draw everything and make it all clean, but like you get the picture of what's going on, kind of thing.
Right.
Because I'm not. I need to work better at like being slow and thinking things out, and I have gotten better, but it's still like, yeah, I'm still really proud of the animation I did, especially. It was like this past week or 2 weeks ago. I was looking back through. I still have a bunch of the files from like versions we didn't use, and like oh, animation take with no eye moving, animation take with the eyes moving.
Oh man, that's great stuff.
I have some of those too. Yeah.
I have so many, and it's like I still think I did. I'm still pretty proud of the animation work I did on this. Just especially how his eyes move, where it was like just kind of figuring out how to do like how many frames, and it was still like one of my first dips into like animation. And this was probably the most I've spent on it because I had to do like the poses and we had to do a whole bunch of iterations of that, and then I had to do like making it cleaner and then making the line bubble, and there was so much to do. And we touched on it before, but it is this like being part of this has really made me appreciate like just the iterativeness of like animation, and I think that's one of the best things about being in this program kind of thing. I don't know whether they're called a programmer's thing, but it's like I get a feel for like the pipeline, of just like how many like tweaks and like dealing with notes and stuff. And I think it's just great experience, and I've learned so much, especially just through this project, because it was like you guys mentioned before, like you'll see it and it's like a minute long, and it's like, oh, okay, like that was easy to do. No, it wasn't. It was so hard, and it just really makes you appreciate it more of just how much goes into like even like a little minute of animation.
I'm
Believe it-
really, really glad that you said that, because mentioning how iterative animation is,
Mhm.
it's like the iteration itself is really the meat of what goes on. And I can certainly say the people who understand that and the people who start to get it really start to improve like quickly, because a lot of it is fail faster and a lot of it is just playing. There's an importance of play in that I wanted to like emphasize in this project. I'm very glad you said that, because that tells me it showed through. The way that I directed this whole thing was very clear, and that you guys had fun doing it, and that it's almost like a kindergarten kind of play, but much more focused.
I think this is the perfect success story of FPP. I mean, short of you getting a job at Marvel, but you got pipeline experience, you got credits, you got to hone your skills and learn new things. And I'm sorry, Logan, at the same time, you got to also learn and teach simultaneously.
Well, I learned the iterative process through university, and there are some people, and I hold them dearly to my heart, but some of the people who don't understand how important play is, they start to ask the wrong questions,
Mhm.
instead of trying to figure it out, like trying to experiment, like all the options available to them. Maybe it's because they don't realize that there are that many options. I don't know, but you do have to do a bit of digging to find it. But finding the fun in doing that definitely helps motivation, and I'm glad you've done that.
I think it's part of like learning, like letting go of having to like commit to a thing. Like I've had ideas and characters like forever. The like first when I first had them, it was like, no, I gotta hold on to all these ideas, like I can't change it. Now they're so different from when they started as, and I'm like kind of, I don't want to say open to everything. Like you're still like still have to judge like, all right, this like feels right for this character, this doesn't. But I'm more open to be like chase down a random idea of like, I'll think about this for like let me see where I can take this kind of thing. And I think it's really helped. Just kind of learning to like play, like you guys said, and just kind of test out all your ideas and see like sometimes you'll get a random idea and it'll just evolve and grow until you've been sketching for like 3 hours and it's 2 in the morning and you're like, what? It's definitely not what happened last night for me. But
Yeah,
it
that's
was like
clearly not specific.
that it did happen last night where I was like, all right, I'm trying to like figure out a character to make, because I also like to like customize kind of dolls, and I got a new one, so I was like, all right, like what can I make her? And I'm like the like base concept that I started with is still kind of there, but it went like it's so more like fleshed out in direction, and I'm not trying to make it like a deep character. I even wrote like the backstory doesn't matter, just like make a fun little character. But it's still like I wanted to think about like, oh, like what does she do? Like what vibe kind of thing? Like what should she feel like? And it just took me over last night. I looked at my like computer screen. It was like 12:30. I was like, what? Okay.
You got
Yeah,
lost in the
before you know
world.
it, you're basically just watching yourself do something that you didn't even think of doing
Right.
like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, I just got it yesterday. Like 2 days ago, if you like showed me this stuff, I'd be like, where the hell did that come from?
Right? It's the
I still
coolest
even
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I still haven't figured. I'm still like, especially it was like just writing down like oh maybe she could be this or like kind of this or like that word sounds good for her or just like getting a like mood board together, which was really fun because I was just like, okay, what's in my head, and then like just seeing it all on one piece of paper, I'm like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like the play and iterative getting that was off topic, but just the
It
like
all
No,
works
I'm
together.
glad that you've said all of that. That is something that was really important to the production of this, is like how do we iterate? And we went through like so many options with the table as well. Like it took us quite a few versions of the table to get to where it is. And I know like with most productions that's just how it tends to be. Like that's how it should be. But we went through like there's a version of the table that's all square, like
yeah.
like square legs, square table. Um,
I remember his like it took a while to figure out his leg shapes. Like,
it
That
took us
was a
quite a few.
big struggle. I think
Yeah,
F had to come in and be
it took
like,
a
all right,
long
just do it
time.
like this.
yeah, and I think it is now really cohesive. It's not
Yes.
the original table that he drew,
No,
but
no.
it's still something that he he's clearly put his, had his input. It's had a little bit of my, my ideas, some of your ideas. Like it's really a product of collaboration, isn't it?
Truly, truly.
Yeah, it is.
We came together with nothing but our time, and we made something.
But yeah,
And we should all be very proud. Speaking of which, we just spoke for an hour about a 1 minute
Yeah.
long short. Does anybody have any final thoughts they would
Netflix.
like to share about? Yes, on Netflix. Anybody have any final thoughts to share about Hater Table, Elfie?
I've already said how excited I am about all of it.
Oh yes.
I'm personally very proud of what we've done. It's been interesting to see the progress of everybody involved, including myself. Because I think everybody here started, in like one role, or maybe you'll get a role in like next week or whatever, and now it's this whole thing has shaped us into the kinds of creatives that we've been on, throughout the whole workshop.
Right.
I mean, not just coffee table or hater table, but just in general.
hmm It's helped us find our footing. I'll
It
be
really
honest,
has.
when everybody joined, it was it wasn't completely random, but like I'll tell you, I looked at your portfolio for like 5 seconds before I decided, yeah, this person's gonna be a director, you know?
Oh wow.
Like there was like 50 people who came in the first day that I had to go through, so F was just like, all right, give me a list of people who you think could be good directors, and I'm like, all right, this person looks good, this person looks good, and my intuition was pretty spot on, I gotta say,
And
especially
some of the other directors are
yeah,
like really high up there, and
right.
just to put me in there's like, really?
That's how I feel now
You
too.
think that highly of me? All right, time to put some pedal to the metal, I guess.
Pedal
That's
to
how
the
I feel
metal.
too. Like, because I started this, and I was looking through like my initial like DM with F, like, hey, like when I first joined, where he's like, this looks like some problem stuff. We don't like, it's like we might not have a position for you right away, but it's like stick around kind of thing. And now
Yeah,
I'm directing.
exactly.
It's like,
Right, now you're
oh,
directing a whole short here as well.
Now you're directing, yeah.
oh, it's wild, and it's just I'm so excited. I think the thing I've been most excited is like it's gonna be like my first thing as like a credit that I can point to, like, hey, like
Right,
I worked
right.
on this, I did this.
So
That's
cool.
not
Like,
like that's not like an assignment for class or something that an animatic that I just kind of like put together by myself. It's like, hey, my name's on the thing and other people's names are on a thing.
Right,
Thing,
right. We
hire
came
me, please.
together.
that's always really special because like someone's like 10th credit could be someone's first credit, but the first credit is always like it's the best one for
Mhm.
everybody. And that, again, yeah, that really tickles me, to hear you that this is your first credit.
So, Logan, where could we find you on social media?
Right, so on social media, I am on Twitter. I have 2 accounts. My personal one is ElfB. It's 3 E's at the end. Don't if you put in 2, you're gonna get the wrong one.
Elf
3 E's at the
B.
end. Twitter, and then there's ElfB underscore art. That's my art account. And then ElfB art is also for Instagram. I am also hopefully going to build up my ElfB YouTube account in coming years. My usual socials, for the moment.
Very good. Jeremy, you want to take us away?
I'm on Twitter. It's at Jeremy A. Freed, just my name. I don't do a whole lot there, but yeah, you can follow me.
Lathan, how about you?
Sure thing. I'm on both Twitter with my handle Vision9Vision and my Instagram Unlimited Vision Art. And yeah, I have my own webcomic, Samantha Ben, that I post every Saturday, every week. So
Be sure to check that out, definitely. Highly recommended. Shay, where can we find you?
I think the main thing I post on is usually Instagram. It's Priceless Art with 3 S's. I'm also on Twitter, S Priceless with 4 S's at the end. Confuse everybody. And on YouTube is where I post more of like kind of like finished like animatic stuff, and that's just my name, Shay Price. It should be obvious that it's a beginning storyboard account with just the amount of stuff on it. But yeah, just Instagram's kind of like the main.
Be sure to check that out. Sky, how about you? Where can we find you?
If you do want to find me, in which case, why? You can find me on Twitter and Instagram on happy_1_year with 2 R's at the end. I usually post my silly lesbian characters, usually for the show I dream of producing one day.
And of course, you can find me on Instagram at Scooby-Doo_Daphne2 if you're a Scooby fan. Or you can find me on Twitter at Daphne_2. It's 2TOO. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for Chasing the Nightmare. Keep on running.
Thanks for having this. Thanks for hosting it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun as always.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for
Thank you,
coming, everybody.
everybody.